So I decided to talk about this topic in a video by itself because I feel like I'm probably gonna run my mouth about it like a lot more. So I said, let's just separate it and have a conversation.
They say that I'm the blueprint, yeah, they calling me schematic. Go crazy like a Zula if these bitches want aesthetic. Don't play with
Like I always say, if you like these kinds of topics, if you like these kinds of conversations, make sure you go to patreon.com/AdrianExpression. You can find my weekly podcast there, as well as a bunch of other things y'all already know. But let's just get right into the topic at hand. Katt Williams was on Joe Budden's show, and like I said this in the past, I'm not somebody who's checking Joe Budden out like that. I'm not watching his show, and you could, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? But a particular segment of it went viral, and that it was of Katt Williams speaking. And he essentially said that cancel culture does not exist. And so you can imagine that drew a lot of eyes. Like I said, the shit went viral on social media, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, honestly, before I get into some of the details that he said, honestly, I'm kind of happy that he said the shit, and I'm happy that a lot of people, it seems, got to see what he said. You know, because it seems like a lot of times, you know, certain messages, it's like y'all can't understand it. A lot of people, the general public can't understand it. They can't comprehend it. They don't want to hear it unless it comes from a straight man mouth. And it's just like, okay, that's really ridiculous, but it's just true. It's just true. A lot of these topics, we start the conversations in these small pockets, in these, you know, marginalized communities, and I'm just happy that some of them reach the bigger, the overall, you know, public, the overall larger community. You know, and we have somebody like Katt Williams saying it so that maybe y'all can internalize it finally. You know what I mean? Like, maybe people can finally internalize the shit. Because when women say the shit, when gays come around here saying the shit, it's just like, y'all need to shut the fuck up. Y'all too sensitive. You know what I mean? Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. I'm going to do what I want to do. And it's just like, okay, whatever. But as, you know, someone else like Katt Williams saying the shit, maybe it will get certain people to stop and pause for a second and be like, well, it kind of does sound like he's making sense. Yeah, because that's the shit that we was saying this entire time. That's the shit that we were saying this entire time. You know, and it's unfortunate that a lot of times it has to come from, you know, mouths like that, but as long as the message is out there and y'all are hearing it, or people are hearing it and internalizing the shit, that's what really counts, I guess, at the end of the day. So, like I said, he said that basically y'all are making a huge deal out of this whole being canceled thing, and I've talked about this already, but it's just like, when I really try and think about people who have actually been canceled, like even Kevin Spacey is in some fucking movie right now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really trying to think of like people who are actually canceled. I mean, it would have to be a long rap sheet of shit for people to finally say, okay, well, you know, maybe we should, like maybe R. Kelly, but even then you still have people defending him. So this whole idea of canceling somebody who already rich and famous and who really don't give a fuck about what bitches saying on Twitter, you know what I mean? Like, general public ain't Twitter a lot of times. Radio is not Twitter, so they do not be knowing what, you know, these artists or people be doing. Bitch, if it sounds good, it sounds good, it's on the radio. So it's just like, this whole idea of cancellation, I think, is just blown out of proportion. And what I mean by that is just essentially people who've always said bullshit, who've always said shit to offend people on purpose, are angry that you dare to have a voice, you dare to have, you know, a community that say, hey girl, like, can you shut the fuck up? Can you back down off that shit? But then this is why I like what Katt Williams says, because I feel like I've been saying some of the same shit. Like I said, it's just, you know, the words that you bitches want to use are still, they still exist. You know what I mean? And then you're getting up here complaining and saying, oh, we can't do it. Oh, we can't do it. What you mean you can't do it? Oh, we can't say this shit because y'all are too sad. What do you mean that you can't say this shit? Are you saying that those words don't exist and all of a sudden the gays with their homo flags, you know, waving the homo flags around, and they did like some Azeroth Metri on Zenthos type shit, they did a Scarlet Witch type of shit and deleted the words from the English language? Like, is that what y'all are saying? Katt was just like, y'all, the words are there for you to use. If you want to use the words are there. But the thing is that now people who did not have a voice previously, people who were always the butt of your jokes because you're not talented enough to come up with something that's actually funny, which is something else that he touched on. People who were previously silenced and now are empowered to speak. Now they have the space to speak and they can do it. And now you're hearing back, hey, guess what? I know you think this shit is funny. It's funny to you. It might be funny to people who think like you, but bitch, we don't like the shit. And someone saying we don't like the shit and you're trash and that shit is garbage is not, do you think that they're deleting you from the multiverse or something? Like, you can still go up there and say the shit I mean, there will be people at your shows. The type of people might be just like how you are. But, you know, for people to blow this shit out of proportion and act like people saying, hey, that shit is garbage to me, is going to take you off the face of the planet, is really corny. That's the first thing. The second thing is, like I said, I'm so glad that he said it, that if you, first of all, if you want to do your comedy the way you want to do it, no one's fucking stopping you. The second thing is, if you can't do it within the confines, I guess, because y'all view it as confines instead of just evolution, if you can't do it within the confines that you bitches are so afraid of, then maybe you're not that funny to begin with. Maybe you're not that talented to begin with. And I think that it's so very true, because it reminds me of like when I was in middle school and these bitches, everything, you know what I mean? Everything was gay. Everything was gay. Oh, that's gay, that's gay, that's gay, that's gay. And they would just bust out laughing. They would just bust, it's hilarious to them. It's funny as fuck. But to me, a whole ass gay nigga, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm moved by your comedy. The shit is corny. Like, for me, I'm just like, come up with better, if you're gonna do gay jokes, come up with better jokes. That if you actually hung around gay people and you wanted to, you know, poke fun at them, it's one thing, but then it's just like, for you to just, that the whole basis of your joke is the fact that gayness exists and gayness is ugly, so anything that's ugly, I'm gonna point at. Anything that's corny and nasty, I'm gonna point at and say that shit is gay. How the fuck is that funny? That shit is not funny to me. And so it's not cancellation if I say as a whole gay man, this shit ain't fucking funny. It's just not fucking funny. So what you gonna do about it? Either you stop it and evolve as a fucking comedian. That's one option. Number two, the second option, which is something that you can do. You can totally do it with or without my fucking permission, is you can continue to tell them same corny ass, lame ass, you know what I mean, punching down ass jokes. Punching down is so corny to me. It's corny, you know? So it's like, I just really like the fact that he said that shit. Like, if you want to do your comedy a certain way, that's fine. But if you cannot operate in this fucking century, you know what I mean? If you can't operate in 2021, 2022 without appealing to a whole lot of masses, that's your fucking fault. That's not, you know what I mean? Maybe you ain't as gifted as you think you are. And that's it. And this kind of ties into the whole, like, you know, if a straight mouth, if a straight black man or a straight man is saying this shit, a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, I get it now, you know. It's the dissonance. I always talk about it on my channel. I talk about the dissonance, like how some straight black people, they will see racism, or they'll see even microaggressions. They'll see, and even insensitive remarks, racial remarks. And they immediately identify it, and they do not have a problem. They do not have an issue saying, hey, that is really racist. That shit's fucked up. And it's just so normal to say it a lot of times. But when other communities within, and this is just one example, within the black community say, hey, that's homophobic, hey, that's transphobic, hey, that's fucked up, hey, that's fucked up. It's almost like you can't see that the same exact thing, the same exact respect, the same exact consideration, the same exact shit that you want from, you know, I guess the overall society, white period, all races period, is the same thing, that we are just asking for basic human decency within the community itself. So when we apply that to entertainment, there's just certain things that we want to see, we don't want to fucking see. And it's just like I said, we've dealt with it for our entire lives. So it's not going to be this whole, oh, like we don't know what y'all are going to be serving us. We already know what the tea is. We already know what we're going to be getting from a lot of you bitches. It's just, it is what it is. But for you to be so, for people to be so pressed and so bothered, so angry, oh my gosh, y'all are just, oh my gosh. But you're doing the same thing. You want the same respect. You want to be able to sit down and watch some shit without some bullshit racist shit popping up in your face. We want the same shit. We want the same shit. It's just in different kinds of ways. And it takes people to be honest and to be mature and to evolve within themselves, to be like, okay, if I do want to appeal to, as you know, these audiences, because a lot of people don't, and don't pretend that you do and then be mad about sensitivity shit. If you don't want to appeal to these audiences, you can continue to say the same bullshit that you've been saying since we were born, you know what I mean? And we'll just continue to cuss you out, and that's it. But if you do want to appeal to these audiences, you have to think about the things that you want from overall society. Think about the things that you want and apply that to people who are asking you to evolve as well, you know? And I often think about the kinds of shit I used to say on YouTube how many years ago? How many fucking years ago? No matter what else happens, it just wouldn't be just cool. It wouldn't be fun for me to be having the same fucking mindset that I did, considering how people grow, considering how the world changes. It would not be cute for me to be running around saying the same things that I did 5, 10 fucking years ago, when not only has the world changed, but you supposed to change too, bitch. You know what I mean? So it's like you can keep saying the same ugly, crazy shit, the same insensitive shit, especially when you did not have as much knowledge as you do now, especially about different communities. You can keep doing that shit if you want, but it just shows the stagnancy. And I feel like that's what Katt Williams is saying. Like, why are y'all so pressed that we want more and more people to feel comfortable within whatever you're doing, within comedy, within whatever entertainment, whatever you're doing, right? And I think that a lot of people think that, you know, because of these new rules, which, like I said, y'all don't have to follow them, because of these new rules, that comedy is now watered down. And I don't think that it's watered down. I think that it is more considerate. I also think that there are different types of comedy for different type of personalities. You know what I mean? Like, there's different shows. Like Invincible is extremely gory as a show. Like, it's an extremely gory show. And there are people who are sensitive to those kinds of things, but versus other shows who are not that gory. You see what I'm saying? Like, so there are, of course, different styles of comedy, and depending on what you want to see. But to sit here and act like, oh, I can't say what I want to say or else I'm going to be canceled. I just feel like if your entertainment, if your comedy or whatever it is skillful, you won't want to punch down. You just won't want to, because as someone who is supposed to be talented, is supposed to be smart at understanding what comedy is supposed to be, there are just certain decisions given new information that you may not want to make anymore, especially if you put certain kinds of priorities or values on the art, on the comedy, on the entertainment that you're doing. I guess it just depends on the person, but there will always be an audience for whatever you want to present. People are always gonna wanna laugh at dumb shit, funny shit, whatever it is, you know? But there are so many different ways to do it. And I think that a lot of people are stuck in this like I said, little boy, middle school ass fucking comedy. There's so many different ways to go about saying what you want to say, and you're pressed at other people for responding to what you're doing instead of making sure that what you want to fucking say, you saying it efficiently. You saying it so people can understand how you want it to be understood. And a lot of times you just want to offend. If you want to offend, don't get offended that bitches are offended. Like, what kind of sense does that make? I don't understand it. I don't understand. But I would love to see what y'all think about this. I would love, because I know there's so many people who think that comedy is now watered down. It's just, I guess as time moves on, there's just certain shit, and we learn more, it's just certain shit is not fucking funny. It's just not funny no more. It's not funny. It's not funny no more to me, to people. And you can find those degenerate ass crazy bitches who sit down there and are entertained by the same foolishness that you are. But when you find less and less of them, don't be mad at the evolution of the fucking world and evolution of social thought, bitch. Be mad at yourself because you can't keep up. I would love to see what y'all think about it. We can even talk even more about it on the podcast if y'all want to. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all so much, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.